I'm Mark Peters, and this is Oddly Strategic, the podcast where offbeat stories become swipeable strategy. Each episode has a free one-page playbook. Get the details in the show notes, and well, let's get oddly strategic. Picture this. You're the manager of a heavy metal band famous for blood-curdling screams and pyro that could singe your eyebrows in row 32. You need to drag 50 tons of stage gear across 5 continents in 8 weeks. Bogota Customs misplaces your amps, Sao Paulo quarantines your lighting rig, and fans are already chanting Bruce in 4 languages. Your options: A. Cancel the tour, refund millions. B. Charter cargo planes at astronomical rates. Or C. Lease a Boeing 757, paint your zombie mascot on the tail, and, tiny detail, have your lead singer fly the thing. Well, Iron Maiden chose C and became one of the sneakiest supply chain flexes in music history. So let's take you back a minute. It's 2008. Iron Maiden's Somewhere Back in Time tour is hemorrhaging cash. Freight forwarders drop crates. One 700-kilo drum riser literally bounces off a forklift in Argentina. And then manager Rod Smallwood maps the madness and spots the choke point: commercial cargo. So then, when Smallwood wonders aloud, what if we flew ourselves? And Bruce replies, what time do we push back? Before we move on, how does a heavy metal rock god become a commercial pilot? It really started at a young age. He grew up amongst family members who were in the RAF, but then one day in 1990, the band was between albums and vocalist Bruce Dickinson buys a 99-pound flying lesson. He catches the aviation bug and by 2002 holds an airline transport pilot's license. He moonlights for Austrias Airlines, flying charters out of Gatwick on his days off. Now back to the story. So Maiden leases a second-hand Boeing 757-200 from Austrias. The seats are ripped out, 12 tons of gear go forward, 12 tons go aft, the crew sits mid-cabin. Just imagine a tour bus doing Mach 0.8 at 37,000 feet. Tail number G-OIRJ, call sign Flight 666, wears mascot Eddie looming 43 feet tall. Tour dates run down the fuselage, cockpit banter streams online, AvGeek Twitter melts down, Reuters runs photos, airports fill with fans who buy more merch before the first chord ever rings out. And the net result? Well, freight costs went down 45%, 10 extra cities were added to the tour, including a first ever Costa Rican show, and about 20 million in incremental merch. Operations merged with marketing, and marketing bankrolled operations. Iron Maiden achieved the golden triangle of costs, control, and customer wow. So let's unpack this a little. What are the business and psychology lessons here? Well, lesson number 1, own the bottleneck, not the whole chain. Iron Maiden didn't buy airports, fuel farms, or baggage tugs. They seized the single choke point that sabotaged them most, the intercontinental freight leg. By leasing a 757, they collapsed dozens of custom checks into one bonded flight plan, slashed setup time from 36 hours to under 12, and could route oddball fan magnet markets, think Bogota, Mumbai, Christchurch, that freight forwarders deemed unprofitable. And the psychology angle to this is the locus of control. When crews believe the critical variable is literally in their hands, or cockpit yoke as the case may be, stress drops and problem solving rises. But there's a risk to all this. Aviation is a regulation swamp. Maiden had to file the air carrier insurance, dangerous goods manifest for pyrotechnics, and overflight permits over on 5 continents. Had any of those fallen through, the owned bottleneck would have become a single point of failure. Lesson number 2, turn operations into marketing. The band spent about US $120,000 on the custom paint job, and then they milked it. Time-lapse paint videos on YouTube, flight deck vlogs, Ed Force One landing, fan meets, every takeoff doubled as a 180-foot moving billboard seen by thousands who didn't hold concert tickets. Some airports even sold grandstand spots for plane spotters. Again, the psychology angle is vividness bias. Vivid, tangible artifacts lodge in the memory far longer than spreadsheets of tour dates. The Jet made the tour epic before the first note was ever played. But also, there's a risk. Spectacle inflation. Once audiences expect a flying circus, anything smaller feels like a downgrade. Plus, if the plane is grounded for maintenance, the story flips from legendary to laughable. Lesson number 3, upskill internal talent before outsourcing. Bruce's pilot license wasn't a gimmick. It removed a 6-figure captain hire cost and let the frontman walk the talk of taking control. Crew morale spiked. Fans raved about a singer who could land a 75-ton jet, and that's story equity money can't buy. And the psychology of this is competence trust. Audience transfer perceived skill from one domain to another. If Bruce can handle an ILS approach into Sao Paulo, surely he can handle a 45-second vocal scream. But the risks, key person dependency and fatigue, illness, voice rest, or pilot hours of service rules could sideline both the singer and captain roles in one swoop. Maiden mitigated by carrying a reserve Australia's pilot and scheduling mandatory rest days after long-haul hops. Also, there's a global pitfall. It could be a capital sinkhole. While manager Smallwood inked a 1-tour lease with purchase option, pacing risk. Had merch or ticket sales stumbled, the 757 could be returned with a "thank you, next." So let's zoom the triangle lens onto 3 other companies and see how cost, control, and customer wow play out in the real world. Number 1, Tesla's Gigafactory, which is control first. Why they did it? In 2014, lithium-ion prices were spiking. Panasonic signaled limited cell supply, the bet that controlling battery output would de-risk Model 3 volume targets and compress innovation cycles. The move? Build the Gigafactory in Nevada, vertical integration on literal gigawatt scale. The results? Battery costs reportedly fell more than 50% between 2016 and 2020, letting Tesla hit the sub $40,000 price band and still post positive margins. And the risk? $5 billion fixed asset bet. Miss demand and you're sitting on a concrete desert mountain. They hedged by leasing sections to Panasonic and energy storage lines. Number 2, the IKEA flatback revolution. Why they did it? Post-war shipping and storage costs made furniture pricey. Fitting tables into pallets meant shipping by air. The move? In 1956, designer Gillis Lundgren unscrews a table leg so it can slide into a car, which is the birth of the flat pack. Assembly shifts to you and your Allen key. The results? Average logistics cost per item dropped up to 90%, letting IKEA underprice rivals by 30 to 50% globally. The psychological bonus here is what they call the IKEA effect. Behavioral economists are finding that people value self-assembled items more because they invested their labor. Customers literally pay IKEA to finish IKEA's last mile. The risk? Assembly frustration equals returns and memes. They mitigated with wordless instructions, extra hardware in the bag, and if all else fails, they've got meatballs in the cafeteria. And number 3, the Apple Genius Bar. Customer wow as theater. Why they did it? Well, early iPod era repairs were a mail-in headache, eroding the premium brand perception. So the move, Ron Johnson and Steve Jobs reimagined service as stagecraft. The Genius Bar at the back, bar-style stools, employees in lab coat tees. Repairs happen in public. The results? First-year store revenue per square foot tripled industry benchmarks. Genius Bar Net Promoter Score routinely tops 70 plus. Customers leave with functioning devices and a story. The risk? High staff training costs and floor space sacrifice. Apple offsets by positioning high-margin accessories along the Genius Bar queue line. Cost covered. And the triangle takeaway: Tesla chased control, IKEA chased cost, and Apple chased customer wow. But each move ripped all 3 edges, just like Maiden's flying warehouse. Let's look at a hypothetical situation, shall we? Imagine you run a small craft brewery. Let's call it Lucky Hops. Your fermenters brim with fresh, hazy pale ale each Thursday, but the regional mobile canning crew routinely runs a week late. Freshness declines, cash stalls, morale drags. So, your Ed Force One moment? You partner with 2 nearby breweries. Co-lease a mobile canning truck. 3 owners, 1 asset, guaranteed utilization. There's also, of course, risks and flexes to this. Idle truck bleeds money, service level agreements, minimum 2 can days per brewery or standby fee. Permits still apply. You've got a shared compliance checklist. But you can have some customer wow. Your truck could double as a rolling billboard, parking lot selfies, amplify reach. Lucky Hops turns a choke point into a roving hype machine that smells like Citra and community. Try this. Name 1 choke point throttling your revenue. 2, list 3 ways to seize control of it: lease, partner, or DIY. And 3, ask, how could making this move vivid also boost my customer wow? So don't forget to download today's 1-page playbook, same steps, space to right answers, plus a cheat sheet of the Iron Maiden numbers. Fun fact, Bruce logged over 700 cockpit hours that tour, enough to fly Winnipeg to Tokyo 17 times. Your move, corporate travel managers. Tune in next time when I talk about how Wimbledon's secret grass farm turns obsessive turf science into a masterclass on owning every detail of your brand. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit follow and share it with a fellow oddball. And until next time, keep your thinking weird and your strategy sharp.